Why do building kits always takes a lot longer than you think it's going to take? Hello, I'm Ramon and welcome back to All Scale RC. I have my Texoma EVOlite Slayer MEUS with the MEUS axles. Sorry, I burnt the crap out of my lip and I am struggling here. Okay, so here's my Texoma EVOlite Slayer with the MEUS axles. I still need to figure out what battery I want to use for this because it needs a 3S battery. It kind of struggles with the 2S. It's a little heavy for what it is. With the MEUS axles actually make it pretty heavy. So I want to get a 3S battery on here. This is the third ESC I put in here. This ESC is 3S capable. And I am running a little brush motor, which I don't know if it's going to get cooked once I put 3S on it, but we'll see. The ESC is a Endura MB100. So that's can take up to 3S. You have about a 1.5 inch space of area to be able to squeeze everything in. So it is really tight to work on. I have a mix of axles. I have a mix of shocks. I ended up with some Endura shocks in the front for 1/18 scale. The rear shocks are 1/24 scale big bore shocks. So the rear ones are 1/24 scale. Because you need short ones in the back and long ones in the front. The servo I'm running is a metal Niping 6 kg servo. That's what I'm running in the front there. Like I said, I still need to work on the steering. Figure the steering out. I should be getting more steering out of this than that. And battery wise. Now I mentioned this before. This is actually long. This is actually really long for a 1/24 scale. Here is my deadbolt 1/24 scale. And you can see the difference in the two. It's quite substantial. So I was thinking, this is pretty long, and I was wondering if it was more like a 1/18 scale. It's sold as a 1/24 scale, but I have a 1/18 scale Hummer here. Okay, now here is the FMS 1/18 scale, and if you look at the wheelbase between both of these, it is literally off by millimeters, 1 or 2 millimeters. This thing is so close in the length of a 1/18 scale, and I would think that the Hummer is on the bigger end of the 1/18 scales, unless they use the same chassis for all their cars. But the Hummer, I think, would be on the bigger end. So, though you're getting a 1/24 scale, it's more like a 1/18 scale. I'm not complaining that it's long. I'm just trying to give people an idea of how big it is. I actually like the length of it. I like how stretched out it is. Now, this Hummer I got, when I bought this Hummer, it was on sale. And parts were on sale too, so I brought a second front axle. Because I'm making this four-wheel... Shut up. Because I'm making this full...
Power off receiver first.
Alright.
Shutting down.
Radio's a pain in the butt. I'm making this four-wheel steering. I don't know why FMS did not make this four-wheel steering. The real Hummer is four-wheel steering, so this thing should be able to crab walk and everything. So I plan on making this four-wheel steering. Now, I already popped the body open, and the ESC/receiver light module is all one unit, which in order to get the second servo on for the rear axle is kind of an issue. So I'm gonna have to probably figure out how to rewire everything to do it, but that's an upcoming project. These are actually really, really nice though. Just hate the fact that it did not come full-wheel steering. So this is a fairly stock SCX24. It does have aftermarket wheels, but Swamper tires. But aside from that, it's fairly stock. And on this crawler park set table, you can only get up to about 12 centimeters before it starts to pick up a tire. So that shows you how much this can flex. And basically 12 centimeters equals about 4.7 inches. And I guess that's degrees, I'm guessing. Now if I measure from top to bottom, that's about, from the table to the tire, that's about 2 inches. So that's how much flex you're going to get out of this stock XCX24. Now on the Texoma, I'm at 22 before it starts to even try to pick up a tire. And that's without even breaking this thing in or anything like that. So I'm sure it'll become even more limber with time. But it's at 22 centimeters, which that's 8.6 inches. We're about 3 1/4 from the table. So that's a significant difference, and I'm sure that people probably have better results than I have that are more experienced with building these type of crawlers. This thing is so long it barely fits on the table here. But let's see how. Wish this thing had numbers on both sides. Oh, starting to collapse. Holy crap! It's kind of hard to because it kind of wants to fold with gravity when I try to see how high it can go. But even with it folded, it got up to about 75, which I know that the XCX24 so the Texoma gets about another 10 degrees on before it even falls back over a standard XCX24. I didn't even check to see. On the side hill test, they're both about 45. But there is my work in progress Texoma. It's still not right, but it's a work in progress. Man, I tell you, when you're building stuff, it always takes so much more time than what you expect it to. I put 2 different motors in this thing, 3 different ESCs, trying to cram for space. I actually hot glued the receiver and ESC on here just because there's really nowhere to really mount anything. You're very limited. Very tedious build. But let's make some room on the table. Let's get this set table out the way. Here's a close-up of the Texoma EVOlite Slayer with the MEUS axles. As you can see, there is no room for anything in here. So when you're buying your electronics, you have to consider real estate. I need to work on the steering. If you guys have any great tips on what I need to do for the steering, let me know. That would be very appreciated. I'm also running an Endura transmission in here, which is what fits perfect. But there it is.